Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, September 7th. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, as Hurricane Irma pummels the Caribbean and heads toward the U.S. coast, the National Weather Service is updating possible paths the storm could take. Patricia Villone is at NOAA Center for Weather and Climate Prediction with an update.
Hurricane Irma is barreling through the Caribbean right now, leaving destruction in its path. Now, meteorologist GREGG GALLINA says that this cyclone is one of the strongest ever recorded in the Atlantic.
So Irma is a very dangerous hurricane, obviously one of the strongest in Atlantic history. It's heading towards South Florida, and right now it's pretty good track that we're going to get something in South Florida. The question is how far east or how far west we're going to see.
We're talking about, you're hearing Category 4, Category 5. Tell us about the difference.
Category 5 will obliterate homes. The roof's long gone, the walls are collapsed inward, and you're starting to see all the other debris move along, especially in an urban setting where you have other debris from other homes hitting the building and losing infrastructure.
When we talk about the Harvey, and that was a very slow-moving one, it did an awful lot of damage with flooding. What are we talking about with this one?
This one's going to be the heavy winds, and it's going to be the surge. So if they're very close to the coast, you're talking 5-10 feet of surge. That's just going to, again, take out the lower infrastructure. Then if you're talking about the winds on top of that, and over such a large area, you're going to damage a lot of homes.
In the areas of the Caribbean that have already been hit, what can you tell us about that?
Certain places are decimated. The island of Barbuda has, most of the trees are down, the infrastructure that was there. Even though it's only 1,600 people, all of their things are basically destroyed. Move into places like Anguilla and St. Martin, and they took a big hit too. So roofs are damaged, flooding has occurred, and so we have a terrible social response that we have to take care of.
Now, the National Weather Service says that this hurricane is potentially catastrophic for South Florida, as well as the entire east coast of the state. From College Park, Patricia Villone, CTV News.
And that storm could track near the mid-Atlantic next week. Maryland emergency officials are urging residents to prepare in advance for possible flooding, rain-damaging winds, tornadoes, and tidal flooding, particularly in coastal areas. Meanwhile, AAA Mid-Atlantic is helping with Hurricane Harvey relief efforts in Texas. The Landover office will be relieving their AAA sister clubs from Kansas and Oklahoma. They are sending 100 cases of water. They'll also help to recover vehicles from flood-damaged areas and assist with transportation in that area.
Well, Landover Fleet is sending down 2 pallets of water to our sister AAA club in Houston, and we'll be dispersing that to members and also helping them recover their vehicles from the flood-damaged area.
And that team leaves for Texas tomorrow morning.
A 25-year-old man charged with killing 3 young girls, including his sister, has been found competent to stand trial. A judge sent Antonio Williams for testing after he entered the courtroom screaming and chaotic a few weeks ago. Williams is accused of killing his 2 cousins and sister Nadira while babysitting them in the family's home in Clinton back in August. Here's what the Prince George's County State's Attorney had to say about the judge's decision today.
I don't know what to attribute the difference in his behavior, but there was a notable difference today that he comported himself. He had more control today than he did on the last appearance. But again, it is very significant that for whatever reason he was acting the way he was. There is no history of mental illness at all. And so the doctor determined that there is nothing that we can point to that it would indicate he's mentally ill or that there's a history of mental illness, and there's nothing that we can point to as well to say that he is not competent to assist in his defense.
Officials still have not indicated what a motive in the case might be. Williams' next hearing is scheduled for September 18th. Well, earlier this week, President Trump called for the end of DACA, or the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, affecting immigrants nationwide, and many have been weighing in since then. Prince George's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Kevin Maxwell, released a statement of support to the school community. While DACA hangs in the balance, Maxwell encourages Congress to act quickly in passing the DREAM Act, which would allow young immigrants who qualify to stay. In addition, Maxwell says the school system stands firm with its immigrant-born students and pledges to continue to foster a safe and supportive environment.